If you're watching this video, that means you've signed up for one of my classes, and I'm just going to go over a few safety tips before you get here, and that way we're ready to go as quick as possible and make the most out of your day. The first thing I'm going to start with is ears and eyes. I pretty much just use a standard safety glasses. You can bring your own. I have some that I can provide if you forget them or just don't have some. But this is going to be a safety glass that covers most of your eye, not a flat kind of Ray-Ban style sunglass. That's not really going to help you out here in the forge when we're talking about some of the equipment that we're going to be using, because it could get in from behind your glasses. So it needs to wrap around fairly decently. So a good set of safety glasses is something everyone should have, literally everyone, because you could be doing yard work. Second most important thing is your ears. It's very loud in here between the air compressor, the forge, the power hammer, the belt grinders, hitting on the anvil, and actually forging stuff. It gets really loud, so we will definitely be wearing hearing protection. You can double up if you want to, and that means having an inner ear and the earmuffs on the outside. So whatever your preference is, you can wear this style. I've got quite a few of these that you can use. Or if you have your own personal pair that you want to bring, that's great with the active noise canceling. Those are great because then we can hear each other talk. I keep it really simple, and I just use a generic like silicone style earplugs, because I can just grab them, throw them in my ears, and remove them pretty quickly. And when you're in the forge for a long day, it can get uncomfortable wearing these. They can cause pressure points and stuff and give you a headache and stuff. So I prefer just something basic like this, or even the little foamies and stuff. So like I said, I'll have plenty of hearing protection to choose from, but it's very important that you wear these, and more importantly, the safety glasses, because this will be the number one thing that could happen if something gets in your eye that could shut your whole day down. So that covers the eyes and the ears. Next, we will move on to clothing. And clothing is going to be anything non-synthetic. It needs to be 100% cotton. If you're wearing synthetic clothes, there's going to be hot scale and hot grinding stuff like that will melt your clothes if it has anything synthetic in it. So everything has to be cotton. I choose to wear, these are kind of a Carhartt style heavyweight cotton pants with leather shoes. Steel toe is a plus, but it's not necessary, because you could drop a hammer or something on your foot, so you do have to be aware of that. And then I usually wear a cotton button up. In this case, I'm wearing a cotton long sleeve, because that's really nice to have to keep any debris off of your arms, because when you're forging on the anvil, stuff can fly up on you and burn your hands and stuff. So it's important to have something to cover your arms in case that is to happen. And since we're here at the anvil, we'll cover the safety tips on the anvil. And the main thing to be concerned about the anvil is it's big and it's heavy, and you're going to be swinging a hammer at it. And clearly you don't want any of your fingers to get in the way, because that's going to make for a bad day. But the number one important thing is, as a new smith or an experienced smith, you don't have to worry about this as much, is your hammer control and your hammer accuracy. If you're starting out and you're going to be missing a lot, and the hammer itself is hardened, not always, you could use a mild steel hammer, but the anvil is hardened as well. So when you hit two kind of hardened surfaces together, you get a rebound. The anvil itself has a rebound, so you'll get the hammer jumping back up. So you'll be down here forging, and then suddenly you'll miss, and suddenly the hammer jumps back up. So if your face is too close or right above the hammer, it can come up and hit you pretty good in the face. So that's the biggest thing to worry about with the anvil, other than if it just was to fall on you. But the main thing is the rebound coming back up and hitting you. So next, we're going to go over to the grinder. Okay, so this is the belt grinder. This is I would say, the number one dangerous tool in the entire shop, because it is moving at a very fast RPMs and can really mess you up really quick if you're not paying attention. So as a beginner taking this class and you don't have any experience, with most people won't have any experience with a belt grinder that runs like this, especially when you're using a heavy grit. I suggest wearing gloves. Bring your own gloves, or I'll provide you some gloves, but gloves give you the confidence you need to get an effective grind on a knife. This is also one of the hardest tools in the shop to learn as a knife maker, so it's something that you want to take your time with, and it takes a lot of confidence, and to gain that confidence, it's nice to start out with a pair of gloves and to protect your hands, because you'll know as soon as it hits the glove, you're going to pull away, and it'll shred. As you can see, there's a hole in this glove from that very instance where someone's finger got too close and it shredded the glove, but they're fine. This takes the brunt. If you're moving in and that belt touches you at a 36, it's kind of too late. You've already nicked yourself or cut yourself, and that's just uncomfortable, or it could be worse. One danger when it comes to gloves can grab stuff, specifically not the glove itself, but the belt grinder can grab the glove. If we were using a flat or a platen to lay the knives on to grind something, you have to be aware to not let the belt grab your fingertips or something and pull your glove off. That could cause serious injury as well. But yeah, the number one thing is respect the belt grinder, and wear your gloves, and that's going to increase your fun factor as far as making your knife. So next we're going to go on over to the forge. All right, so we're now here at the forge. The forge is a propane forge. We're not using coal or anything like that, but it is since it's a propane forge, we're talking about propane. It's it's a gas, and it's explosive. So we want to pretty much stay away from this tank. I'll manage all of the propane aspects of it. So the thing that you need to worry about is actually manipulating your piece of steel in and out of the forge itself. And be aware that even though you don't see a flame, there's a lot of radiant heat coming out of the front. It's kind of common sense, and you'll feel the heat, but I want to go over it because you can get flashes of heat that can just instantly burn the hair off of your arms, which is another reason why it's really important to have something that's long sleeve, whether it's a button-up or a shirt like this, that can kind of help get rid of some of that heat. We'll have tongs and stuff, and usually most of the material's out away from the forge, so we're not having to get in close. But when we get to a certain part of making a knife, you have to switch to tongs, and it can get a little uncomfortable, so we can put gloves on. But I just want to make a quick touch point on being very aware of the amount of heat that is coming out of the front of this forge. And all of this surrounding, pretend, is lava, because all of these surfaces right here will get hot. So there's steel sitting here. If you set your steel down here and you come back and you're like, oh, it's cooled off. No, there's a lot of heat radiating around the forge as well. So don't touch any of these surfaces right here or you will burn yourself. So next we're going to move over to the power hammer. All right, we're here at the power hammer, probably the most fun tool in the entire shop, and that's where most of the work, the forging work, is going to be done. That's the beauty of having a power hammer. It's also why we can make a knife in a day. So the biggest thing is to respect every part of this machine. Never take any of it for granted, and there's not a lot of moving parts on this, but the parts that do move, any part of them will easily take one of your fingers without asking. So, and clearly the most important part here is the ram. That's where the ram's going to be coming down and hitting the material. So we want to keep our hands far away, and our fingers and any part of our body far away from this area. And we also want to take into consideration, if we're working with tongs or holding the steel, to keep a good grasp on it, because you can come down with enough force if you're not level and holding it right to potentially launch a piece of hot steel onto yourself or somewhere that we don't want it to go. So that's the big touch point on the power hammer. And now I'll just do a closing words. Okay, some closing thoughts. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to teach you a class. Remember, we're here to have fun. That's an important thing, but the most important thing is to be safe. And that's the reason this video. I touched on all the high points of some of the safety stuff because you may have not seen a belt grinder or a power hammer in person. So just wanted to get those things in your mind and have you watch this video beforehand so you can really think about those and kind of have that muscle memory to like, oh yeah, I need to keep my hand out of the power hammer. And like I said, it didn't cover everything, and I will cover all like little maybe specific stuff as we go along with maybe some of the smaller tools and stuff that we use throughout the class. But once again, I want to thank you so much for signing up for my class here at the Franklin Forge, and I can't wait to see you here.